to present you, which represents what President Obama and Vice President Biden and I have been saying, and that is, we want to reset our relationship. And so we will do it together. We worked hard to get the right Russian word. Do you think we got it?
You get it wrong. But перегрузка, which means overcharge.
Oh, that is hysterical. March 2009. Yeah, the reset button with Russia. That really worked. No, it really, really worked, did it not? I want to take you now, as we welcome you to Give Me Five, fast forward to the latest Russian atrocity. Vladimir Putin on the hot seat, of course, with the Russian rebels in Ukraine. And Hillary asked about that by Charlie Rose yesterday.
Well, the questions I'd be asking is, number one, who could have shot it down? Who had the equipment? It's obviously an anti-aircraft missile. Who could have had the expertise to do that? Because commercial airlines are big targets, but by the time they got over that part of Ukraine, they should have been high. So it takes some, some planning. And the Ukrainian government has been quick to blame it on terrorists, which is, their name for the Russian insurgents.
Yep, and even yesterday, of course, she realized who was probably responsible.
And there does seem to be some growing awareness that it probably had to be Russian insurgents. Now, how we determine that will require some forensics, but then if there is evidence pointing in that direction, the equipment had to have come from Russia. What more the Russians may or may not have done, we don't know. I read as I was walking in today to talk with you, the Russian stock market has dropped. There is a great deal of concern that not only was a civilian plane shot down, but what this means about the continuing conflict in eastern Ukraine and the role that Russia is playing.
And if it turns out that Russia has its fingerprints all over it, another present for the Russians or something more serious?
From my perspective, and I have the benefit of not being in the government, if there is evidence linking Russia to this, that should inspire the Europeans to do much more on three counts. One, toughen their own sanctions, make it very clear there has to be a price to pay. Number two, immediately accelerate efforts and announce they are doing so to find alternatives to Gazprom. Russia has not diversified its economy. It is still largely dependent upon natural resources, principally gas and oil. And thirdly, do more in concert with us to support the Ukrainians.
Yeah, okay. All right. What about that reset button, though? Now she wants the world to get tough on Putin.
Do more to help their military obtain better equipment, better training. The Ukrainian military under Poroshenko has been much more focused and more successful, but nobody kids themselves. If Russia really keeps weighing in on behalf of the insurgents, there's a lot more that needs to be done. And to put Putin on notice that he has gone too far and we are not going to stand idly by. So the Europeans have to be the ones to take the lead on this. It was a flight from Amsterdam to Kuala Lumpur over European territory. There should be outrage in European capitals.
Yeah, I understand that, and the president echoed that today, but there should be outrage all over the place. And here's one more from the woman who pushed the reset button along with Barack Obama, now wants to get tough.
I think Putin is pushing the envelope as far as he thinks he can. I think he obviously has annexed and occupied Crimea. He is willing to keep Ukraine unstable in order to try to intimidate the new Ukrainian government to back off from their approach to the EU. And I think the only language he understands is one that is very tough, very patient, very clear.
Okay, so there you go. I guess maybe Charlie Rose should have asked Hillary, hey, did you now, looking back, think it was a good idea to give that reset button to your counterpart in Russia? Would you want that reset button back? And what were you thinking when you gave him that reset button? On the Steve Malzberg Show.